To take on number 5 Alabama after the Longhorns took game 1 of the series last night back here for game 2. I'm Beth Mowens along with the 2-time Olympic gold medalist Michelle Smith, and we are set to watch freshman Vic Moten make the biggest start of her career. Smitty.
Yeah, and she's been outstanding so far as a freshman. It was a really heavy down pitch in the zone, really good velocity, but Beth, I've been really impressed by the way that she controls her emotions. Big environment, massive game here starting against number 1 Texas.
Best ERA amongst the freshman class nationally. She's got wins over Florida State and Liberty. Looking for her first SEC win. 0-2 through her first 2 conference starts as she faces this gauntlet of a Texas lineup led by Caden Henry at the top. Junior out of Dickinson, Texas, one of 6 starters in the field back from their national championship team a year ago. Hitting over 400 and with some pop, 51% of her hits have been for extra bases this year. Here's the 2-2. And a full count to Henry.
Rise just a little bit up and out. Henry, good job laying off of it.
And missed it inside. And a leadoff base runner here for Texas to open up the game. And we welcome you to the Rhodes House here at Alabama. The Crimson Tide taking on the Texas Longhorns. Just underway, a leadoff walk for Texas has Caden Henry with good speed on the base paths and Leanne Good at the plate. Last night in the opener of this series, Good hit 2 home runs to lead the way for Texas to a 9-1 win, handing the Tide their worst loss of the season. For Texas, number 1 in the country at 32-2. A win tonight would keep them on pace with Oklahoma for first place in the league. Vivi Martinez and Reese Atwood right there in the heart of this order. Look at what they've done the last 4 games. Hit 5 out of the park and have driven in a dozen.
Yeah, Vivi Martinez as of late has been outstanding. Reese Atwood, she's just all career everything. Top hitter and catcher for Texas.
And Vic Moten is making the biggest start of her young career. The freshman out of Daphne, Alabama. Trying to even this series tonight for the Crimson Tide and trying to get her first conference win. She's 13-2 on the season. Both of those losses coming in SEC play. She's got the best ERA amongst the freshmen in the country.
Yeah, she's really strong in the circle. I think the one little bugaboo that she really needs to work on are going to be those free passes. 25, actually 26 now on the year.
And threatening 2 in a row to open up the ball game.
Back-to-back 3-2 counts for the freshman.
Good fouls it off.
And one thing about Texas, they do a good job of drawing those walks. 160 walks coming into today's game. That's one of the tops in the country.
And we welcome you to one of the best venues in all of college softball. Beth Mowens along with the 2-time Olympic gold medalist Michelle Smith here at the Rhodes House in Alabama. Swing and a miss, but it's dropped by Giles. Crowd is ready for a little something to get them going. They were kept quiet by the 9-1 loss last night, so they are ready to bust. And hoping the Tide can get out to a better start. Here's the 7th pitch to good, and she lost her as well. Back-to-back walks to open the game for the freshman.
And Vic has that really good velocity. She will drop her changeup down to 52 miles an hour, but it's that separation that really makes her her best when that drop is falling off the table, the rise hoppy at the top of the zone, but she's got to work ahead and hammer the zone. These back-to-back walks here put her a little bit of jeopardy in the top of the first.
Yeah, throwing 14 pitches to the first 2 batters. And here is Martinez. Giles fires down to third, not in time to get Henry.
Well, that's a great job by Kaden Henry to see that ball angle down. She knows it's going to be in the dirt, and the second it's in the dirt, she's going to take off and make her way up an additional 60 feet.
So the wild pitch gets a couple in scoring position. Martinez, their starting shortstop since she stepped on campus 3 years ago, but had to watch last season. Missed their championship year due to injury, and back with a vengeance this year. 1-2 pitch. Got her. 1 down.
And that is a big strikeout for the freshman in a pressure situation with runners at second and third. Martinez had a home run last night on a pitch on the inner half. They decide to tack her on the outer half. Nice drop ball with downward movement. Picks up a strikeout in the first out of the game for Vic Moulton, the freshman.
Youngster throws with some velocity. Good strikeout pitcher this year as Reese Atwood will come to the plate, and Mike White wants to talk to Reese and the on-deck hitter, Katie Stewart, also their new hitting coach this year. Aaron Earlywine is out there to chat. They were able to get after ace Jocelyn Brisky early and often yesterday. In fact, scored in 6 of the 7 innings yesterday.
Absolutely, but they were consistent. They were relentless on the base paths and attacking the zone. And this is a tough situation here with Atwood in that 4-hole. You got Katie Stewart behind her, who has just been on a tear this year. 18 home runs for Stewart behind Atwood's 14 home runs.
Reese hitting .422 with runners in scoring position this year. For the senior from Sandia, Texas, right back up the middle. One is in as Henry scores. They are waving around good. And Texas makes Alabama pay for both free passes. And it's 2-zip.
This is a first pitch that's a little bit too sweet in this situation. You can see it's supposed to be on the outer half, and it's just elevated and right over the white. And because of that, Atwood is going to punish it, send it right back up the middle, and Vandergriff is going to come up. She knows she has no opportunity to make that throw home. So 2 big runs on the board already for the Longhorns.
Reese Atwood, RBIs number 45 and 46 for their career RBI leader. And when you're 32-2, you win a lot of games. 25-0 when they score first, including last night's win. They just had a 29-game win streak come to an end on Sunday. That was a school record. And a big reason why is this woman right here, Katie Stewart. Tons of pop in that bat. 18 homers, 45 RBI.
Hot as of late. 4 of her last 7 hits have been home runs. She had a home run in last night's game.
Moulton tried to get her to chase. 2-2. Stewart's a junior out of Frankfort, Illinois. Best slug, best OPS in the SEC this year. Even better than those Oklahoma bats.
Yeah, which is saying a lot.
Yeah. She's number 2 in home runs to Kendall Wells, who hit another one today, her 29th for the Sooners.
A lot of people are asking, did they change the ball? It just seems to be flying out of the yard this year.
She's got a heck of a swing. So does Stewart. Fouls off the 2-2. Of course, we will have that series in its entirety next weekend when Texas hosts Oklahoma. Last year's SEC champ and national champ head-to-head. Just missed it, and another full count. That's the third one of the inning.
That pitch just a little bit outside. Drop on the outer half, running away from Stewart. And then they try to come back underneath the hands.
Pitch count already up over 25 in this first inning. They are so experienced. They are so mature as hitters. 6 players back on the field from their championship team of a year ago. And, of course, their ace, Tegan Cavan, also returning. She picked up the win last night in the Circle. Called strike 3. 2 down.
That was a great pitch by the freshman. After having 3 full counts, this is a drop ball on the inner half. Just really good job of painting that corner, and she is fired up, needs to be here.
Trying to limit the damage, and with 2 down, it's Kaya Altmaier. One of the newcomers in the lineup, the transfer from Arizona, a senior out of San Diego. 1 for 4, scored a run last night.
This is one thing that Texas does, is they make you pay for those mistakes, the 2 walks to lead off and 2-hole wild pitch and a base hit.
They are top 10 in the country in scoring, batting average, slug, on-base percentage. The preseason favorites this year in the SEC. Coach Mike White told us that is one of the goals they've talked openly about. You know, when you got so many guys back from a championship team, you got to fight off complacency. They've set some lofty goals. And one of those is to win the league championship as the count goes to 2-2. This is the 4th full count to the first 6 batters.
Texas making the freshman work hard here. 34th pitch of the inning coming. Foul off a lot of pitches. They've got a great eye, so they watch pitches out of the zone. They very rarely expand or chase.
So important, I think, for Alabama's confidence to keep it close, give themselves a chance, and it's walk number 3 of the inning, and that will get Lance McMahon out of the Alabama dugout to go chat with the freshman.
Oh, and that's the tough part, because you get yourself into a 3-2 count, couple of foul balls, and then a ball that slips out of your hand. That 3rd walk of the inning pushes Reese Atwood into scoring position.
No bullpen activity, so they're going to let her work through it. And meanwhile, for Texas, you got to be thinking, hey, let's pile it on here. Get out to a big lead, just like game 1.
Absolutely, and they're starting a freshman as well, so want to put as many runs up on the board to give that freshman in the Circle opportunity to have herself a good start.
7th batter to the plate is Ashton Maloney, the senior from Missouri. 3 for 4 with a couple of RBI last night. Really good defender for Texas, has a chance to make some noise here with the bat. Giles, good scoop behind the plate.
Because of Maloney's speed, the defense is pulled in for Alabama, and this is a situation where Moulton just needs to let her defense do the work, help her out. It's a very good defense for Alabama this year. And that's one thing as a freshman and pitcher, when you're struggling, you got to get in your own head and say, hey, I don't have to do this alone. I've got a really good left side, strong defense, right side, strong defense. Let's roll some ground balls.
Sixth best fielding percentage in D1. Ashton on the season has just one hit with a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. She's got Atwood at second base, Altmaier at first. Slapped into the netting.
This is a tough part of the lineup also for the freshman Vic Moulton, because both Maloney and on deck Katie Bennett, they don't strike out a lot. So you're not trying to blow the ball past them. You've got to think, I just want them to miss-hit something and let my defense help me out.
And she lost another one.
Yeah.
Fourth walk of the inning loads the bases. And not the scenario that Alabama was hoping for. And now they do have some bullpen activity. It's a career high walks for Moulton. Two outs for the number 8 hitter, Katie Bennett. One of their starters a year ago, mostly in a reserve role this season. But gets the call as the DP. She's still hitting better than .350 this year. First time she's come to the plate with the bases loaded, as Vic Moulton tries to work out of it.
That's the pitch he needs to be able to hit, that drop on the outer half.
Bennett taking 3-1. And that'll walk in a run. And it's 3-0 Texas.
And you can tell by the body language of the freshman, just really struggling to grip the ball. I think the hand is kind of forced here. Alabama's going to need to make a change.
So Atwood comes in to score, and a pitching change coming on here for Alabama with 2 outs. Last night's starter, Jocelyn Brisky, comes on for the Tide. Terrific start for Texas. A rough go early on here for Alabama. A pitching change in the top of the first inning, as Jocelyn Brisky will come out of the bullpen, trailing 3-0, and the bases loaded with Longhorns. After Vic Moulton walked 5 of the first 8 she faced.
Well, what you're going to get with Brisky is consistency. Just 11 walks on the year to 115 strikeouts. She did take the loss, her first of the year, last night in game 1. And so the scout on Brisky is that she's going to have that velo separation between 53 and 70 miles an hour. She attacks the entire part of the zone, but it's a really good rise and drop ball, really good separation on those pitches, but she also will work the corners.
And she will face the number 9 hitter. It's J.C. Nichols, the freshman from Durant, Oklahoma. 1 for 3 against Alabama last night. Excuse me, that's Wells at the plate. That is the starting pitcher tonight. 2-1.
And that's one of the things with Wells, because she is a two-way player. It gives Mike White the ability to use his lineup differently.
Can insert her in here. Hannah's got some more power coming out of that flex position, and a 3-1 count. They have just one hit the inning. A 2-run single from Maurice Atwood. And now the count goes full. This is huge for Alabama to try and get out of the inning still within reach. Wells pops it up, back on the grass out left is Salem Hawkins. Texas leaves them loaded, but they get 3 in to open the night.
Park, and you know, it's a team batting average over 367 coming in. They're just tough to get out. They also take their walks, as we saw in that first inning.
Alexis Papillo grounds it to Vivi Martinez. It's short, 1 down. Now we're going to find out a little bit about the depth of their pitching staff, Michelle, because they won with their ace last night, and they follow that up with the freshman righty Hannah Wells.
Hannah Wells, big opportunity for the freshman who can play on both sides. She hits and she pitches for the Longhorns. She does a great job really with her changeup and her off speed.
Couple of first pitches swinging,
Yeah.
2 down. Brooke Wells grounds out to good.
It's kind of what happens. It forces the hand of your opponent. When you put some runs up on the board, they've got to swing the bat, and Alabama trying to be aggressive.
This is, as of right now, a record-setting Alabama offense in terms of batting average and slug and on-base percentage. They are midway through the SEC season, threatening all those offensive numbers in terms of single-season success. They're led by Papillo at the top. Has been on base 32 games in a row. Alexis retired the first time up tonight, and this is Anna Roman, freshman from Oviedo, Florida, had one of their 5 hits last night. And a top 10 recruit for the Tide.
She almost hits her teammate Taylor over there, who's also a freshman in the on-deck circle. Ducking to get out of the way. And these 2 freshmen hitting, how about that? Hitting 3 and 4 for a team like Alabama, 5th in the country.
Yeah, transferring 2 freshmen right up at the top. The newcomers have really injected a lot of enthusiasm and energy into an Alabama club that has been middle of the pack in the SEC the last 2 years. They're used to fighting for championships. This is a big weekend series for them to kind of make a statement that they could be in the chase for Patrick Murphy. Now in his 28th year here. So strong at home over the years at the Rhodes House. A win percentage of 85%. Off the end of the bat, slow roller to Nichols, and it's a 1-2-3 start for Hannah Wells. Over Missouri this evening.
It was not long ago that Tennessee was #1 in the country. That just shows how tough the SEC is.
Caden Henry drives that one to center field and almost takes out our camera, and a deep home run. And it's 4-0 Texas.
Beth, we talked about the power of this lineup. That is the 60th home run of the year for the Longhorns. They can do it all, and it is length throughout this lineup. The batting averages are gaudy. The power off the bat, unbelievable. It gets a pitch that is piped right over the middle, rise ball. And Henry does not hesitate. You can see the extension. When you get extended on a ball like that, it is going to go 250 without a doubt. Watch out, guys, in center field, manning those cameras.
5th home run of this series from 4 different players. And that's in 8, make that 9 innings of play through the first couple of games. And Texas, just like they did yesterday, keeping the Rhodes house quiet as they jump out to the big early lead.
You have to remember, this is a Texas team that battled very hard against Texas A&M last weekend. And that series has set them up well for this series here at T-Town.
Jenny Young under that. Good is retired, 1 away. This is also, you know, for Mike White, when you know you got a lot of guys coming back, let's make sure we have a tough schedule. Let's make sure they feel challenged. Let's make sure that they have the juice every day to get up and play against the best. They're 12 ranked wins, by far the most in the country. And they are in the midst of a 13-game stretch, I believe, all against ranked foes. A&M last week, Alabama this week, Oklahoma coming up next week.
Well, we showed the standings of the SEC. What we didn't talk about is that, how about RPI? 7 of the top 10 teams in the country are in the SEC. How about 10 of the top 16 RPI are also SEC teams?
Yeah, the host bubble is going to be fun this year. You could have 10 SEC teams hosting.
Yeah.
Notice how deep the league is. Vivi Martinez struck out in the first against the starting pitcher, Vic Moten, who did not get out of the first inning. Now Jocelyn Brisky is out there. Interesting move, too, for Alabama, because I think a lot of folks probably thought Brisky would be the starter. Game 3 tomorrow.
I'm putting her in a game where you're already down 3-0. However, the bases were loaded. I mean, I think that's the faith that Patrick Murphy has in his offense, saying, hey, I'm going to put my ace in. I need to shut down Texas here early and see if we can't get some runs up on the board.
Maybe a situation, too, Smitty, where he gives her a run here for a couple of innings. Let's see if our bats can wake up a bit. If not, maybe we see him go to the bullpen after a few innings tonight, so that Brisky could come back ready tomorrow.
Brisky yesterday threw just 62 pitches in those 3 innings she worked. And this is a big battle against Vivi Martinez for her, because it was Martinez that started off with 2 outs in that first inning, a drop ball in the inner half that she hit out of the yard. It kind of set the tone for the game against Brisky.
Gets the swing and miss. 2 down.
And that's the pitch that's going to be important, Beth, because Vic Moulton, the freshman, did not have that pitch. Brisky has an outstanding changeup, and she's going to need to use that effectively and often. You can see the way that ball is not just off speed, but the movement down in the zone. It gets Martinez to swing through it.
Here's Reese Atwood. And we'd like to welcome those of you that have been watching the South Carolina Gamecocks knock out undefeated UConn in the Final Four. South Carolina into the national championship game, as Atwood drills one out to left under the glove of a diving Embry Taylor for the 2-out hit, her second single tonight. Gamecocks put the clamps on Sarah Strong, and A.Z. Fudd held UConn to 48 points. Spectacular defense from Dawn Staley's club, so they are in. And, of course, Texas is on deck playing UCLA in the second game tonight in the national semis.
Gotta love the defense, right? They say in every sport, defense wins championships.
Texas is saying, hey, Smitty, how about our offense? We've scored in 8 of the 9 innings in the series, bud. Back-to-back knocks. That's Katie Stewart, and her first one tonight. Just nowhere to hide in the middle of this order, my goodness.
Nowhere to hide. You know, Katie Stewart has really worked on her swing. Her bat and her approach is much flatter this year, so she's able to attack pitches up in the zone. That one's just a little sweet. It's above the knee. One of the things I like about this Texas team is they are aggressive. They are attacking, and that's part of their motto. They're not defending their national championship. They're attacking it.
Thought that was great from Mike White. Said, yeah, we've got a couple of new carrots dangling out there. We want to win an SEC championship. Didn't get that done last year. We want to be better in April than we were a year ago when things got sideways a little bit for Texas. But, of course, they were able to straighten it out in time to get to the World Series and win it all.
Yeah, that slump in April was pretty profound. I mean, they talk about it a lot. You know, the batting averages went down, picked up a lot of their losses over the year, but they righted the ship. And sometimes it does take profound losses to get you moving back in the right direction again. A little bit of extra work.
Altmaier, and that one's a foul ball. Profound, you mean by getting run ruled by A&M in the SEC tournament?
Yeah, that was, what was that, 15-2 or something? Yeah, that was a shocker, especially when it's Texas A&M.
Boy, were they resilient in that Clemson series in the Supers on death's doorstep and rallied to win in extra innings and, of course, got to the series.
Oh, and that's what it takes. Sometimes it's battles. It's the, back up against the wall that teaches you how to keep throwing punches. And this is a sport where you cannot look backward. You got to keep, thinking one pitch ahead.
That's what we're talking about there. The loss that knocked them out of the SECs. They were down to their final out against Clemson, rallied to win. Altmaier caught looking. Couple of hits, couple left on, and Caden Henry goes deep. Really deep.
How about Caden Henry getting a pitch?
Thank you so much, Peter. We're here in Tuscaloosa. It's Texas leading Alabama 4-0. So we've got some Texas fans that'll have a couple of screens going as they watch a little softball tonight and get ready for the Longhorns on the basketball court in the national semis against UCLA. Texas is the only team to beat the Bruins this year. They did it back in November.
It's going to be a good one. Such a great time of year, all the different sports going on, the diamond sports heating up, basketball closing up.
Oh, yeah, got the Masters coming up.
Oh, yeah. A derby, isn't there a derby sometime coming up in the next month
Early
or so?
May, yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Easter weekend to those of you that enjoy this weekend.
This is an opportunity now for Alabama to really try to make Wells throw some pitches. Just the fourth batter coming to the plate for Alabama. How about 15 already for Texas?
Yeah, Wells, quick work, less than 10 pitches in the first inning. Got 3 ground outs at the top of the order. So here's Ambry Taylor with a 3-1 count. Freshman from Jasper, Alabama, comes in riding a 6-game hitting streak. And now a full count.
Now, this is where Alabama is going to have to really be choosy with their pitches. They're going to have to try to stay inside that strike zone. Wells is going to hammer that lower half. Very good drop ball. Have to be very choosy, hitting those strikes, laying off pitches out of the zone.
Ground ball to Martinez. Look at the footwork from Vivi as she gets ready to make that play, and it's 4 ground outs to start the game.
Well, she's a master at rolling ground balls too. Vivi Martinez, an All-American type shortstop, because she's got that great drop ball at the lower half of the zone and really likes to use all of her pitches, but when she's hammering the low zone, she is tough to hit.
Here's the number 5 hitter, Marley Giles.
There's that drop ball. 66% of the time, she's going to be throwing that in the high 60s, up to 68 miles an hour. Curveball extends, but it's also the ability to throw a changeup. And her rise ball's off speed, and that's the changeup. So that's like a curveball that's off speed, and it's going to be spinning away from right-handed hitters. And then how about a floaty rise ball that she'll throw up at your eyeballs and try to get you to swing through it? So a lot of different speed variation, as well as really good movement. There it is again. So she'll throw it on both sides. Mostly we'll work it away, but that one came back inside. She was lucky it was more inner half and came backdoor into the zone.
Showing us why she was the Gatorade Prep National Player of the Year and the Texas Player of the Year. Off of her glove, and Alabama has a base runner.
On Hannah Wells, I know she's upset with herself on something like that. As a pitcher, when you've got a comebacker like that and it just goes off the glove, you can't catch it cleanly. It's like, oh, I know that should have been an out, but it's part of the game.
Going to score that one an infield hit, so that's the first for Bama today. And that'll bring up Audrey Vandegrift. One of the few times in her career that she is not batting leadoff. Moved down to the 6th spot tonight. Trying to regain the form of a fantastic freshman season last year for the Tide. Just foul outside the line.
Vandegrift has struggled a little bit. It really has expanded her zone. Her chase rate is up, and then here, take a good look at it. Last season, that chase rate down at just 23%. This year, batting average down, chase rate up. So what that means is that she is actually swinging at pitches outside of the zone. Pitchers are chasing her out of the zone.
And this one, Wells is able to handle. Only play is to first to get the second out. Giles was quick to second base for Alabama.
That's a good job by Wells. I think she looked and wasn't quite sure if she was going to throw to Martinez or Good. Martinez was on the bag, but she takes the safe out to get Vandegrift at first. It is a productive out for Alabama, but still something, want a little bit more of a charge when you've got Vandegrift up at the plate.
So now an RBI opportunity for Salem Hawkins. Went 0 for 2 in game 1, 329 batting average on the season. Right back up the middle. Giles headed home, throw to the plate offline, and a run on the board for Bama. And on the throw home, Hawkins will take second base.
Outstanding hitting by Hawkins, taking that ball right back up the middle. Opportunity to get on the board. You've got to be able to respond when your opponent is putting runs up. So Hawkins pitch on the outer half, slams it right back up the middle. But what I love is that Marley Giles, the way she's going to really get herself in a position coming home to be safe. Ball popped up the middle. Throw coming in from Caden Henry, but you can see the way that Giles comes around third, and she's going to see Reese Atwood. And look at the way she's going to slide around, dive to the plate, so that she's putting herself in a position where she cannot be tagged by Reese Atwood. Really good base running by Giles to make sure she scores.
Chance now for Jenna Young to tack on some more. A good combination of power and speed for this Alabama lineup. And the conditioning improvement, Michelle, is noticeable. That was one of the things that Patrick Murphy talked about. We need to be more athletic if we are going to compete with the best.
And they are. A lot of these young ladies have leaned up. They've gotten in the weight room. And they were talking like Lexi Papillo, one of the leadoff hitter for Alabama. She talked about it. She's like, you know, we wanted to get stronger.
Yep,
we knew
diet.
Absolutely. Yep. And you know, we're not starving ourselves. We're just, you know, a calorie deficit of about 500 calories a day, and getting in the weight room, lifting hard, and putting ourselves in a position that when we are swinging the bat, the exit velocities are going to be higher. So therefore, you're going to get more hits. You're going to have more power. You're going to hit the ball out of the park, and you're going to make this happen. You're going to make the Rhodes House start to cheer.
Rock. Yes. They want to be more athletic, too. And more vocal. They sense what could be a moment here for the Tide to turn things around a bit. 3-0 from Hannah Wells. Three and one.
Good leverage counter for Jenna Young. See if she gets something on the outer half and down to get into.
2 on with 2 outs. First free pass. Yeah, that's got Patty Ruth Taylor out there in the circle, and that also has Cambria Salmon up in the bullpen for Texas.
This is a Texas team that has a lot of arms in the pen, a lot of opportunities to go to different pitchers.
Cruise through the first 4, and a little different story here in the last 4. And it's Lauren Johnson. Thought about the bunt. It gets by Atwood, and now 2 in scoring position for Lojo.
Well, then that's a situation here with 2 outs. She's not really looking to bunt. She might be trying to pull in the corners, but look at the way her bat is going to come back. It's going to come back right into the eyes of Atwood. So that pitch elevated. She can't see it. Atwood, that is, cannot see it. And both runners move up on that wild pitch.
Johnson squared again, takes a strike, 1-1. Score that one a wild pitch that advanced the runners. Two and one. Hitter, and the bases are loaded for Alabama, and their best hitter on the season, Lexi Papillo.
Well, this is who you want up. Lexi Papillo typically hits lower in the lineup. Patrick Murphy decided to lead her off in today's game, drop Vandergrift down to the 6th hole. Papillo typically hits in the 3-hole.
3 for 3 this year with the bases loaded, including a grand slam. Thought about it briefly. Held strong.
Well, that's why they have yes, yes, no down that foul pole on the left field side, because they are attack, attack, no, it's out of the zone, hold up the swing.
Grano. Ball 4 to walk in a run as Hawkins trots home. And they have cut the deficit in half.
Well, you could tell Papillo wanted to hit. She was not running down that first baseline until she for sure heard the umpire call ball 4. But that brings up Brooke Wells, who is leading the Tide with 15 home runs.
Grounded out, first pitch she saw, first time up. Sophomore out of Round Rock, Texas, just north of Austin. Looking for her first hit of the series. Good on the corner from Wells, 0-2.
She's so strong on that outer half, has a lot of vertical break as well as horizontal break, so that pitch is going to nip the outer half, continue to move away. Oh, she goes back there again, but this time at 59 miles an hour, so that's the off speed. She blends both those pitches together so well.
Wells versus Wells. Ooh, that was close.
That was very close. That is a tough pitch to take, trying to expand that zone.
Gutty at bat from Brooke Wells. 35th pitch of this inning coming up for Hannah. Base hit. That'll be extras out to right center. One run is in, two are in. Throw to the plate, not in time. And Papillo slides home with the go-ahead run.
How about Brooke Wells with her 8th double of the year at the bases loaded. This pitch elevated and she gets all into it, but she still lets it travel. She doesn't try to pull it. She goes oppo with it. She gets into that right center gap, and she knows with the bases loaded, that is going to clear them. And Hannah Wells, the freshman, knowing that that mistake did a lot of damage. A 3-run double for Brooke Wells to put the Tide on top, 5-4.
Boy, you talk about a game of inches, you think of that comebacker to Hannah Wells just off the tip of her glove, and that would have been a 3rd out a long time ago for Texas. Wasn't meant to be. Alabama with a 5-run 2nd inning. And they have erased a 4-0 deficit. As Wells departs and Cambria Salmon comes on. So both starters, 2 freshmen in their biggest games of the season, both knocked out early. Sophomore out of Beaumont, California will come on, the right-hander. 5-0 on the season with a 2.12 ERA.
Salmon with a lot of tools, opportunity for her to try to shut down this Alabama team that is surging, as well as the crowd here at the Rhodes House. She's going to be mid to high 60s, so good velocity. She's got a nice drop ball and screwball mix that she really hammers the lower half of the zone in, but she will throw a rise ball up at your eyes to elevate or change that eye level of the hitter. I think right now it's just about trying to roll a ground ball, get out of this inning so that the Longhorns can pick up the bats and try to get that lead back.
Well, the Rhodes House has come alive. And #1 Texas will try and work out of some trouble. A 5-run 2nd inning. Another base runners in scoring position for Anna Roman. She is the 9th to the plate this inning. An RBI single for Salem Hawkins, the RBI walk with the bases loaded for Papillo, and then a 3-run double for Brooke Wells. 3 of the runs this inning got on base with free passes. So the walks have hurt both pitching staffs tonight.
I was just going to say, for young pitchers out there, the lesson we learned here tonight is the free passes are deadly. They typically end up on that scoreboard.
Here's the 2-1. Fouls that off.
Good job by Roman. Opportunity here to try to get some more runs up on that board. Try to extend the lead a little bit. It's an Alabama team that has left 215 runners on base, trying to convert them all in this game, getting them to cross the dish.
Lost her. 4th walk of the inning as Alabama bats around the order. And now Ambry Taylor, who started it all, will come up for a second time. 4 walks and 3 hits in the inning for Bama.
Good job by Alabama, really to tighten up that strike zone, not chasing stuff out, not helping out Texas pitchers, hunting their pitch.
Foul back onto the rooftop of the press box. Texas led this thing 4-zip heading into the bottom of the 2nd, and a big Bama rally. Can they keep it going? That pitch blows by Atwood, another wild pitch.
It's a rise ball. Atwood at 6'2", typically will go up and be able to grab those.
Citlali Gutierrez is now up in the Texas bullpen. Both coaching staffs going deeper into their pitching staffs than they anticipated. Life in the SEC.
Oh, absolutely.
With these explosive offenses.
It is all hands on deck for these pitching staffs. You got to make sure you're warm or can get warm quickly, because obviously, as we've seen, a 5 spot up by Alabama, that the wheels can fall off quickly.
Taylor, did she hold? Oh, 2-2.
I thought she held up. I'll have to take a look, see if that bat head crossed the plane of the front of the dish. It looked like she had held up. Ooh. Have to remember not to umpire at first, so they go down the line to the 3rd base umpire to make that call.
Had to swing at that same pitch to protect there. towering drive, but foul. Full count.
I love the way that Taylor is battling. She was the leadoff in this inning, grounded out to the shortstop. Trust me, you're a hitter. You know when you've been up and made an out already in the inning, you're like, I'm not making 2 outs in this inning. I am going to get this ball to the wall.
Wells and Roman aboard. Another rocket foul.
Great job of fouling off pitches, putting herself at this full count.
9th pitch of this at-bat. What an AB.
Wow.
For Taylor, and that'll load the bases again for Alabama.
5th free pass of the inning.
Marley Giles singled and scored earlier in the inning. Bases loaded just a few moments ago, and Brooke Wells delivered a 3-run double. Full tide again for Giles. Play at the plate, nope. Wells scores from third on another wild pitch. The 3rd of the inning.
Oh, look at where Atwood is at. So she is well down. That pitch is supposed to be on the inner half. She's down on her leg guard, so no opportunity for her to get up and get that. Remember, she's 6'2". She normally is able to catch that. She's going to need to start working from a squat position if those pitches keep going up. Again, that one almost gets by.
Giles wanted all of that one. Slow roll to Nichols at third, and in time to end the inning. 6 runs on the board for Alabama. Indeed, a special place to play college softball. The Crimson Tide win 85% of the games they play here. 4 straight seasons with over 100,000 fans. Packing the Rhodes House. Won a big series here last year against defending national champion Oklahoma, trying to even up the series against the defending national champion Texas Longhorns. Now in its 26th season, and a must-see for softball fans if you want a road trip to the Rhodes House.
Absolutely, over 3,000 fans they average. That's the average. Many times there's over 4,000. I mean, this is just such a great environment. And when it's rocking, you just don't talk. You just take it all in.
Like the last inning when they scored 6 runs Ashton Maloney. Fly ball out to left. So let's see how #1 Texas responds after their 4-0 lead has gone away.
Texas, one of the best in the business at responding 72% of the time. When someone scores on them, they come right back and put runs up on the board. Which, if you're wondering, that is an outstanding statistic. Really good is 60%. Average is below 50%.
Yeah, Mike White calls them his answer innings.
That's right. When we used to play, we would pretend it was a boxing match, and we'd have a bell in the dugout, and we'd ring the bell, be like, all right, here we go, another inning. We got punched, let's punch back. You just got to do something to keep yourself motivated, because it can be deflating at times. You give up a 6 spot, you're like, dear Lord, how often does that happen?
Bennett slaps that one, fair ball, and KD will leg it out for the infield hit with 1 down. Is Patrick Murphy going to challenge?
Take a look at the freshman. Taylor is well off the line, and with that speed of Bennett, she gets down the line so fast. You can see clearly safe, hits that green safety bag.
The ruling on the field was the ball was fair. Alabama is challenging that ruling. The previous play is under further review.
Marty
Marty Abizishan, yep. Stephen Gold, Chris Neighbors, our crew tonight. So something new this year in college softball, you still get the 2 challenges, but if you win a challenge, you get to keep it.
And I love that.
Yep.
You should not be penalized for wanting to challenge something. And remember now, the ball, it's where the ball is.
That's going to be hard to overturn from that angle.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It is a fair ball. Alabama's charged with their first challenge of the game.
That's a terrific job by the review crew. Hey,
Absolutely.
Get it done, quick.
Those Hawkeye cameras are so good. They're so clear. That's one of the keys. And of course, the SEC has that central command, if you will.
CENTCOM?
CENTCOM, we'll call that. Since I live in Tampa, that's what we call it.
Not that CENTCOM.
No, Central Review in Birmingham.
So here is the #9 spot in the order. And this goes back to J.C. Nichols. Remember, it was Hannah Wells who was able to hit here back in the second inning, in the end of the first inning. So now it goes back to Nichols in that flex position.
Well, the spot came up with the bases loaded, so coach was putting Wells in for more power. Nichols is more of a speedster.
Boy, that could be a key at bat too, Smitty. They left 3 on base and now trail by 2.
We have already 5 lobs for Texas in this game.
Nichols out of play. 2 for 6 today with runners on base. Big 2-run single from Reese Atwood in the first, the solo home run from Caden Henry in the second. Nichols back up the middle, base hit. One of the things that Mike White was looking for was some more production from the bottom of his order. And 7, 8, and 9 have now been on base 4 of the 6 times they've come up.
Well, and yesterday they were 8 for 16. They had 7 singles. I mean, they're just outstanding. When the lower half of your lineup is continually getting on and turning it over, you're going to put big runs up on the board.
Here's the home run hitter, Henry. Walked and scored before her big bop. Her last time up. Take a look at that home run swing.
Pitch, she just gets extended on. Hit the camera guys out in center field. Just great extension, so quick to contact.
Maybe one of the most underrated players in the country. A 400 hitter.
Yep.
Mike White told us this week, we've always known how electric she is. This year, she's consistent. Night in and night out, better power.
Well, Beth, it's the power, but she also has 21 stolen bases.
Yep.
I mean, the speed is off the charts, and so that's why when you have Bennett and Maloney in front of her, the speed on the bases right now for Texas is enough to make you want to eat antacids if you're in the pitching circle.
We got another bases loaded situation and another pitching change. And Alabama is going to go back to the starter, Vic Moten.
Chance for redemption here for the freshman. And that, unless Coach Murphy's doing something magical with his card, that's going to burn Brisky.
Play around a little bit, yeah. That'll burn Brisky.
Correct.
But her pitch count is low enough that she could come back and certainly start tomorrow. But the bigger question here now for Alabama is Moten walked 5 people in the first inning and did not get out of that first inning.
Had a couple of big strikeouts, but you're right. It was the 5 free passes, all walks.
I kind of like the moxie of the kid.
Yeah, she's a fighter.
Give me the ball. I want it back. I want another shot at it. Let's see if Texas can knock her out again or if she can respond here with the bases loaded and just the one out. She will face Leanne Good, who is swinging a hot bat right now for Texas, Smitty.
Good has been really good. Pitch on the outer half, and she goes with it. And then how about a pitch low and outside, and she drills that one off the center field flagpole. First time hitting 2 home runs in a game for Leanne Good. Received a golden ticket, yeah, for the AUSL last week.
Be playing in the pros this summer. We'll be covering the league extensively on the ESPN networks. Have the championship series for you as well. So here we go, bases loaded. Texas down a couple. And it's Leanne Good. Chopper to third. Taylor comes home with it to get the lead runner for the second out.
I thought Embry Taylor, the freshman over at third base for Alabama, you know, these young kids, this has been a great freshman class around the country. Really good positioning. She's on her toes. Look at the way she hops. That ball looks like it's going in the 5-6 hole. She says, not so fast, gloves it up. Nice strike throw back to Marley Giles. Gets the force out at home, second out of the inning.
And now it's Vivi Martinez, 0 for 2, has struck out twice. Moten got her with a drop ball in the first. Whiffed on a Brisky change in the second.
And the freshman cranking it up to 71 miles an hour. And this is what we're used to seeing from Vic Moten. A lot of power, a lot of speed in the lower half of the zone. Great job by Giles to pick that.
Two and two.
This would be big for the freshman's confidence if she can get out of this jam coming in relief here.
Swing and a miss. To end the inning for Alabama. Moten comes on and gets the job done.
How about the freshman drop ball Goes out of the glove by Giles, but they get the out. And look at Moulton. She's like, I'm back. Redemption.
And they have put up a 6 spot in the second inning. And now we'll go back to work here in the third.
Well, it's that situational hitting. They have 5 2-out RBIs. That big double by Wells to clear the bases. This is the bat. If they can get Audrey Vandergriff back in form.
Dropping down the bunt. Safe at first as the throw down from Atwood pulled good off the base.
Well, and that just shows how well Vandergriff can run. Look at, she puts this bunt down, and her turnover rate, getting down that line so quick. The speed of Vandergriff gets that down, but look at that turnover, hitting that green bag.
Here's Salem Hawkins. Bunts it foul.
Big leadoff single for Vandergriff. It'll be interesting to see what they do here. Typically, one of the best stolen base threats in the country last year with 50 stolen bases. This year, not quite as many.
Michelle down in the number 6 spot as opposed to the leadoff should give her more of a green light, right?
Should, absolutely. And that's why Patrick Murphy put her there, because he said that number 1 and number 6 are typically your biggest leadoff spots.
Here's what should have been a sacrifice for Hawkins, but she's safe at first. And I think Texas may consider a challenge here. That's what Katie Stewart, the first baseman, is asking for.
The ruling on the field is the runner is safe at first base. Texas is challenging. The previous play is under further review.
And I think this is a good challenge, but this is a slow developing play, and Salmon is not quick, and Hawkins runs very well. Part of the problem, too, is that you could see the way the catch was made at the body. There was no stretch to the ball. So important to be able to stretch out. And remember, there needs to be video evidence to overturn.
It is when the ball passes the webbing of the outside part of the glove.
After review, the ruling at first base stands. The runner is safe. Texas is charged with their first challenge and has 1 remaining.
So safe at first after her first bunt hit for a single this year. And there's 2 on with nobody out for Jenny Youngs.
Back-to-back base hits on bunts. That just shows again the speed that this Alabama team has.
Here's Jenna Young, walked and scored in that big second inning. She'll play some short game too. Nichols does not give it a chance to roll foul, and the bases are loaded.
Well, J.C. Nichols, the freshman for Texas, is going to come up. And so if you take a look at this, one of the things you want to do when you're playing the corners is when you're heading in, you want to make sure that you read the rotation of the ball when this goes down. Is this going to go foul? I think if she lets that ball go, it's a foul ball. Take a look at the way you can see the bat angle even. That ball is definitely going to go foul. I think that's a situation they'll probably go back and look at that as a team and be like, hey, if it's going foul, let's let it go foul. Make them bunt the ball fair.
So they're going to actually score that one on E5. And the bases are loaded with nobody out with the number 9 hitter, Lauren Johnson.
It's the 31st error of the year for Texas.
Hit by a pitch, scored a run her first time up. That's in for a strike, 1-1.
Trying to get underneath the hands of Johnson. Typically a lot of drop ball pitchers you want to throw inside, hoping to have a ground ball hit to that left side. Try to go home to first, especially with Johnson being a right-handed hitter.
Standing room only. The Brickyard is packed wall to wall around the outfield. Over 4,400 strong. Number 1 versus number 5. First time the Tide have taken on the top-ranked team in 6 years. After Texas took game 1 last night, this thing is turning into a bullpen affair. And I think Texas will make another change.
It's been a busy night for Patty Ruth Taylor, the pitching coach. Mike White as well, a great pitcher in his time, the head coach for Texas. And it looks like they might be going to Citlali Gutierrez, possibly.
And it is Gutierrez. We'll take a break, be back with the bases loaded for Bama and nobody out. Coverage begins May 28th on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2. Both these teams would love to be there. It's number 1 versus number 5 tonight at the Rhodes House. Lauren Johnson, a swing and a miss against Citlali Gutierrez, the 3rd different Texas pitcher tonight. One down, and that'll bring up Alexis Papillo. Bases loaded in the 2nd inning. She walked to drive in a run.
It's a big first out for Citlali. Comes in, throws 1 pitch, gets the strikeout of Johnson on a rise ball. And she's typically known for working a drop ball. But this is the one right here. Papillo with all that power, 12 home runs in that leadoff position. The bases loaded.
That was the first strikeout of a Bama batter tonight. 7th best batting average in the SEC, 10th OPS. Had a 13-game hitting streak earlier this season. Lines that one foul.
Yeah, this is a recharged offense for Alabama. Papillo has just been outstanding. She's typically in the 3 spot. Coach Murphy moves her up into the leadoff spot. A 302 batting average last year. How about 456 this year? She's hitting 471 versus right-handed pitching.
That one got away from Gutierrez. Nice play by Atwood to snag it. Another bases loaded walk to Papillo. 7 for Alabama. Here's Brooke Wells, the 3-run double in the 2nd inning. Started with the bottom of the order and a couple of bunt singles. Here's her big swing out to right center, her last time up.
Pitch on the outer half, she lets it travel. Whacks it the opposite way.
reaches for it. And Gutierrez gets back-to-back strikeout, or gets another strikeout here of Wells, 2 down.
And Beth, that was huge. That was 3 off-speed curveballs in a row. Look at the way this ball just dances. Great job by Atwood to make sure she gloves this up. That's off the bat, so it's a tip, but Reese Atwood, with that Johnny Bench Award, outstanding catcher behind the dish, helps her teammate out. But this is the pitch that Gutierrez will throw in any count and throw multiple back-to-back-to-back. Is that off-speed curveball. Almost looks like a flying saucer coming at you.
Roman, 0 for 1, a ground out and a walk. Combined walks on the night for these two clubs. Three and one. Full count. Hawkins, Young, and Papillo on base for Alabama. Roman fouls that one off.
Gutierrez will even throw that off-speed curveball into lefties that last pitch. Roman was well out in front of it, but gets enough of it to stay alive.
Called strike 3. Alabama leaves the bases loaded, but they get another one up. 7-4 tied. Mike White and the national championship Texas Longhorns. Tegan Cavan, the game 1 winner last night. Gutierrez, boy, it could have been real trouble that last inning, and she kept things quiet with 3 strikeouts and keeping things close for the Longhorns. Now encouraging her teammates to see if they can get the bats going again. 0 for 3 with the bases loaded. A season high 6 runs allowed in that Alabama bottom of the 2nd. Reese Atwood's been doing her part. Drove in a couple of runs with the single in the first, singled again in the second. It's 4, 5, and 6 coming up.
Atwood and Stewart in those 4 and 5 holes have 3 of the 6 hits up on the board for the for the Longhorns.
Ground ball to Taylor at third. 1 down. Katie Stewart having a career year, already as many home runs in half the games that she needed to get to 18 home runs last year. Talking to the coaching staff, she's been patient, very mature with her swing, has shrunk the zone a lot. And I thought it was great stuff, you know, from Aaron Earlywine, their hitting coach. You need to be able to hit the rise on Friday nights in the SEC, and you certainly need to do it in the NCAA tournament and at the World Series, and that is one place that Katie has gotten better, hitting up in the zone.
Yeah, that slug percentage over 1,100, and you know, she's quieted her swing down, so she shrunk the zone. And in other words, she's not chasing out of the zone, and she's doing a really good job of getting that front foot down and then making sure that bat's a little flatter. And once a little flatter, she can attack that pitch up in the zone a little bit better. So last year she was really good on down balls, but she was not as good on pitches up in the zone. This year she's done a much better job.
In foul territory, and the catch is made by Taylor. So Alabama able to retire Atwood and Stewart here in the top of the fourth.
Vic Moulton, you know, the key here is that she's pitching from ahead. Any pitcher is going to do much better when you are throwing from ahead, and the splits on this are astronomical when you really look at it.
This is Kaya Altmaier. Moulton, since returning to the game last inning, has now retired 4 in a row.
Moulton is just so quick with her windup. You know, shorter in stature, about 5'4", so that arm circle is super quick and explosive. Has that great downward movement, and you know, sometimes as a young pitcher you try to overthrow. When you overthrow, you end up spiking the ball on the ground. You just got to be loose, and that's the key. Yeah. That great downward movement. You can see that ball just rolling off the table. It's heavy. It's almost like throwing a bowling ball, or catching a bowling ball for the catcher. It's probably what Giles is thinking.
What a big moment it could be for her. Sometimes you got to wait after a rough outing, you know, a few days or a week. She had to wait just a couple of innings to get back in there and get after it. And getting it done. She's retired 5 straight and a 1-2-3 inning for Vic Moulton, the freshman out of Daphne, Alabama.
Vic Moulton with that drop ball, that four-seam over the top, great downward movement, but it's the energy and the emotion for me, Vic Moulton. Welcome back to the game.
7-4 tied over Texas as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Alabama tonight, 5 two-out RBIs. That big 6-run second inning. And Vic Moulton, who struggled as a starter, has been much better as a reliever. Bounced in the first inning, has come back strong now in the last 2 innings after she re-entered.
Well, that's the pitch that Alabama's going to have to figure out how to hunt and how to hit. It's an off-speed curveball, and they are getting a heavy dose of that from Lali Gutierrez, one of the best in the business at throwing that pitch.
3 strikeouts that last inning. Deep fly ball, way back and gone. Ambry Taylor with the solo blast.
On the Rhodes House has definitely woken up. Sends that 6th spot in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Alabama knowing they need to put a lot of runs up on the board, and they have been electric. Ambry Taylor, the freshman, after seeing an off-speed curveball, gets one a little bit harder, a little bit faster. Look at the way she just loads up that backside rotation. That's a no-doubter off of the bat for the freshman. Taylor going yard for her 8th home run of the year.
Here's Marley Giles. I know one thing, it's extra pay tonight for Caleb and Catherine out there manning our center field cameras. They've had to duck for cover a couple of times on home run balls tonight.
Great job.
I think Caleb took one on the shoulder. Off the bat of Caden Henry earlier, and this one cleared the top of both of them off of Taylor's bat, and now Giles on board. So it would appear that we are going to see our 4th Texas pitcher of the night. And it will be Brenly Gonzalez coming on for just her 6th appearance of the season. She's thrown 12.2 innings. Brenly, the sophomore out of Aledo, Texas, transferred in from Texas Tech. A lefty with a good changeup, Smitty.
Yeah, and that's opportunity to try to have a little bit of a different look for Texas against these Alabama hitters. Lefty spin.
Played travel ball for one of the all-time great lefties, Cat Osterman, back in Texas.
58% first pitch strikes.
They do indeed want to rock and roll all night and party every day. We may be rocking and rolling all night and into the day.
Brenly's going to work that lower part of the zone. She throws that drop ball about 47% of the time. A good screwball curveball combination, trying to expand the zone, but she does have a good changeup. She'll throw that about 50 miles an hour. She does throw that 23% of the time, so trying to take that power away from the Tide.
That's the starting pitcher tonight, Hannah Wells, who could re-enter and may. So Giles aboard with the hit by pitch. Here's Audrey Vandegrift. Bunt single last time up. Corner's coming way in with Audrey's speed. Hitters, the pitchers, the coaches, all somewhat frustrated, trying to adjust. You know, I think it's combined 12 walks now for these two teams. Slow roller to third. Nichols' only play is to first. Giles into scoring position with 1 out. As good as a sacrifice.
Yeah, that's a great job by Nichols, seeing that Leanne Good was in a foot race with Giles to try to get to second base, so gets the out at first.
Here's Salem Hawkins. RBI single scored in the second, and then a bunt single in the third. In an 8-4 game, both sides have also left the bases loaded in a half inning.
Yeah, 5 lobs already for Alabama. 8 for Texas. A lot of traffic out there this evening.
And for a strike to Hawkins. Florida, by the way, a 2-0 winner tonight over Mississippi State, so they improved to 10-3. Alabama trying to keep pace in the loss column and stay in the top 4 in the conference. And of course, Texas needs a win to stay tied with Oklahoma, otherwise they fall a game back, with that big head-to-head series looming next weekend in Austin.
That changeup.
So waited as long as she could.
Oh man, it's so hard to see. It's 48 miles an hour, and it's you can tell the hitters are hesitating even on the hard stuff as well. And now I'm sure Coach Murphy's coming over and they're going to talk about, see if they could pick it, try to give a sign, give him Hawkins a little bit of help, saying, hey, either get that foot down, you know, sit soft, react hard. You know, and that's the type of hitter I had to, when I was facing a really good changeup hitter, I had to sit every pitch and think every pitch was a changeup and just react quickly to the hard stuff. A lot of different hitters hit those changeups in different ways.
Florida, by the way, in that 2-0 win over Mississippi State, had one hit, a Kenley Cahalan home run. Wow. And Keegan Rothrock got the complete game shutout. Full count here to Hawkins with a runner in scoring position, 1 out. Swing and a miss. Gonzalez gets the strikeout, 2 down.
Chases are down into the dirt, pitch clearly out of the zone, but that's what the changeup does, is that you see something hard, you're like, oh, it's not a changeup, so you end up swinging at it. This pitch well out of the zone, but you're so worried about that changeup that you end up chasing hard stuff down. Big out for Gonzalez.
All right, so can Bama pick up another one here with 2 outs? 5 of their 8 runs scored tonight with 2 down.
Your attention, please.
Pinch hitter coming up. Monty Hubbard will hit in the 8th spot for Jenna Young. Sophomore from Huntsville. Hubbard, 320 on the season with a couple of home runs, 6 runs batted in. Already 1 run across on the Ambry Taylor solo home run to lead off the inning.
Change up again. Crowd thinking it's a little high. A lot of movement on it, as well as dip in velocity.
Hubbard out to left and over to make the catch is Altmaier. Side retired, 1 stranded, but a home run ball from Taylor makes it 8-4.
Now the freshman Ambry Taylor going yard, 8th home run of the year. She's bashing that way out of the yard. That solo shot puts another run up on the board for the Tide.
Good one going at the Rhodes House. Alabama leading Texas with 8 unanswered runs after the Longhorns went up 4-zip in the 2nd inning. Reese Atwood has a couple of hits for the Longhorns. And Texas will go back to work here in the 5th. 7, 8, and 9 coming up. The bottom 3 have been on base 4 times tonight. Couple of walks, couple of hits. Facing Vic Moten. Started, got knocked out in the 1st, came back in the 3rd, and has now retired 6 in a row. 1 down.
Well, to your point, Beth, she has been working from ahead. When you work from ahead, it makes such a big difference. Look at that. Since she started, 3 earned runs with 5 walks in that 1st inning, just 2/3 of an inning since her return. She has retired 6 straight.
She and fellow freshman in the circle, Caitlin Palazzi, have combined for 18 wins already this year. They have become a really nice complement to Brisky. Jocelyn took her first loss yesterday. She pitched a couple of innings here tonight, so with low pitch counts, she could be back tomorrow. Now remember, the game has been switched from a night game to a day game with weather coming. Could make a difference as Bennett reps one back up the middle. There you go. Tomorrow's game now will be on SEC Network at 1:30 Eastern. Alabama trying to even the series. Texas a 9-1 winner in game 1, and likely to see Tegan Cavan tomorrow, who was masterful, picking up her 14th win of the season last night.
She was outstanding, just 107 pitches. Gave up just 1 earned run, 5 hits, a complete game.
Last year's World Series most outstanding player. Guiding Texas to its first title. Nichols out to Johnson, 2 down, and here comes the top of the order. Henry has reached all 3 times, a couple of walks, a solo home run, has scored twice. Chopped to second, and the tag is applied by Jenna Young on Katie Bennett. That'll end the threat and end the inning.
It's been awesome. Issa Torres setting that record with 16 consecutive hits in a row.
How about that?
Unbelievable.
She is threatening the single season batting average record, which is over 500. She's hitting over 600.
615, and I went back and I had to do the math. She was 37 of 52 in the month of March. She was only out 15 times in the whole month of March.
Alabama has 2 wins over Florida State on their resume. Brentley Gonzalez is back out there to throw again in the bottom of the 5th. 9, and then the top coming up for Alabama.
Alabama's taken advantage of 8 free passes, 7 of those walks, a hit batter, and 6 hits.
Johnson waits on it, sends it out to Henry in left center. 1 down. Here comes Alexis Papillo. Everybody in the lineup has reached base tonight for Alabama.
And that's been
8 of the 9 have scored, Schmidl.
Yeah, and that's complete after they went down in order in the first inning.
I think on like 7 pitches.
Yes, it was 7 pitches.
Yeah. Papillo is on base for the 3rd straight time. 2 walks and a hit by pitch.
It's the 3rd hit batter by the Texas pitching staff.
I love that from Atwood, going out and getting the youngster back in the right frame of mind. Such a tremendous leader.
Oh.
She's a part of the United States national team pool this year, along with her teammate Tegan Cavan, with a possible shot for that group of players to make the U.S. Olympic team in a couple of years under Patty Gasso.
Those 28 Olympic Games will be played in Oklahoma City.
Wells, and sliding and going for it was Maloney, just out of her reach.
And Beth, back to your point about Atwood going out and giving Gonzalez a little bit of a pep talk. You have to remember that she's only thrown 12.2 innings coming into this appearance, so it's important to go out. You're in this environment with over 4,000 fans screaming against you. I mean, just pluck the leadoff hitter for Alabama, just get her refocused.
Another wild pitch, and Papillo to second. I mean, regardless of the outcome, Mike White, you know, they're undefeated on the road this year, and he said this is our first big road test. We've won games neutral elsewhere around the country. This is the big road test, and another marker for this team as they move towards the postseason, towards a possible SEC championship and another trip back to the World Series.
Well, they talked about how important it was for them to go into Love's Field last year when they played Oklahoma. They played on the road. This year, next weekend, they will be hosting Oklahoma in Austin.
That'll be fiery.
That will be fire, and we'll be there to watch the fire.
Two under Wells. Gets down into that crouch in the batter's box. And now 3-1. Two on with 1 out. I mean, the walks are just stacking up.
25th walk of the year for Wells.
Kinley Pate will be the pinch runner at first base. And here comes Anna Roman. A walk and a strikeout tonight for Anna.
I think the most important aspect of the zone is it needs to be consistent for the hitters to be able to know what to attack, pitchers know where to be able to throw.
Roman reaches for it. Stewart will touch the bag at first. And 2 in scoring position with 2 out for Embry Taylor, who hit a bomb her last time up to deep center field.
36, Embry Taylor.
Taylor, base hit, will drive in a pair. 10-4 tied.
Taylor, first pitch swing, and just comes out and is super aggressive on a pitch on the outer half, waits on it, gets around it. Look at the way that she barrels that up. Great extension. Doesn't try to do too much with it. Smashes it back up the middle with runners at second and third with 2 outs, running all the way. A couple more big runs up on the board. A 10-4 lead now for the Tide.
Most runs that Alabama has ever scored against a top-ranked opponent. Marley Giles. Could end it here with one swing. Flirting with run rule territory against #1 Texas. Home run would walk it off. Giles golfs that one out to left for a base hit. And the game winner is aboard. Her second hit of the night.
Giles getting a pitch on the inner half. Gonna drop that barrel, loop it onto the green. I love the fact right now that Alabama's not trying to do too much with the pitches that's coming. If they know it's a single, they're getting that single on it. They're jumping into pitches that are fat, driving those out of the yard when they can, but doing a good job of not over swinging at other pitches that approach that are on the corners.
Let's see, Garrett Griggs is the pinch runner at second base. The big one is Giles at first base. Audrey Vandegrift came in tonight hitting just 200 in the SEC, but did pick up a bunt single back in the third. She's been playing mostly short game tonight. Little self-talk in the batter's box. Swinging away this time and a base hit. One run is in. Giles racing over to third, and the game winner stands 60 feet away. And the RBI single for Vandegrift.
No, I love the way that Vandegrift is talking to herself in the box, just letting that ball get to the zone, not spinning off of it. A lefty-lefty matchup with just tough at times, especially when you've been chasing a little bit. But Vandegrift, great job of getting another run up on the board. The Tide now 1 run from ending this game.
Last night, Texas handed Bama its worst loss of the season. Can the Tide return the favor tonight?
And their situational hitting has been outstanding. 5 for 9 with 2 outs, 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position.
8 2-out RBIs this evening for the Crimson Tide.
Aaron Earlywine going to come out and talk to the defense. Aaron Earlywine, a great fast pitch men's player himself, played with Mike White back in the day. He was a fielder. Probably talking the first and third situation here with 2 outs. Vandergrift with all that speed over at first base.
All they need is Giles at third. And it's Salem Hawkins, the number 7 hitter. RBI single back in the second. And a bunt single in the third. Takes a look at strike 1. Oh, and 2. Hard hit, but right at Martinez. And Texas lives to play another inning. 11-4 Alabama. Coming your way next weekend. Right now, Texas in a big fight to avoid a run rule. We head to the 6th. They saved it in the bottom half of the 5th. And now find themselves down 7. Two, 3, and 4 against Vic Moten. Has retired 8 of the 9 she has faced since returning to the circle. An Alabama win tonight gives Oklahoma sole possession of first place by a game over Texas and 2 games in the loss column over Florida and Alabama. In the 3 and 4 spots in the standings.
I have a feeling those standings are going to be like a yo-yo, up and down and up and down and up and down and all around.
And then, of course, once we get to the SEC tournament, forget about it. We've had 6 different champions in the last 5 years since we had co-champs last season with Oklahoma and A&M. So good walks. And it's Vivi Martinez.
Just the first free pass issued since Moten has come back into the game in the 3rd inning.
Will we be talking about Texas fight here with the heart of the order? Trying to get the Horns back in it.
Vivi Martinez, just 2 strikeouts coming into tonight's game. She has struck out 3 this evening. 2 of those off of Moten. Both heavy drop balls at the lower part of the zone.
Just did get a piece of that one, but now 1 and 2.
Off her foot.
see Ailey Johnson and Caitlin Palazzi in the bullpen here for Alabama. Again, we'll reiterate that tomorrow's night game has been moved up to a 12:30 start locally. So as we approach 10 p.m. here in Tuscaloosa, if you're Alabama,
It's a short
get
term.
out of this inning, get one more run up, and get home for some rest. Texas trying to extend it. Martinez laces one out to center, and there's Vandegrift, one down.
Ball well struck, but right at Vandegrift. That's one of the things that Patrick Murphy told us. He said, we are going to be playing deep. So they're either going to hit singles or they're going to hit it out of the park. Vandegrift playing deep, able to reel that in for a big first out of the inning.
Other than that's what's happened, Smitty. One home run that went over their head. All the other hits are singles. There is Reese Atwood, one of the best hitters in the game. One of 7 active players in the U.S. national team pool for this summer and beyond. She is the active leader in runs batted in, number 2 amongst active players in home runs hit. And of course, the record holder in both of those categories in Texas history.
He's been such a great leader behind the dish, winning the Johnny Bench Award, All-American, and obviously with the bat as well. Good job following up. Changeup off. She struck out on the changeup twice in game 1 last night.
Atwood chops that to Hawkins. Over to second for one. Double play for the Alabama defense.
Oh, this is the defense that has been flashing the glove all year for Alabama. Hawkins over to Young, to Wells over at first. That is the 10th double play of the year, and Moulton loving the defense behind her. Look at that energy.
An 11-4 game, 11 unanswered runs after the Tide fell behind 4-0 in the second inning. Buoyed by a big 6-run second to take the lead, and they've had the momentum ever since.
Scored in every inning since.
8-9 and the top will try and end it early. Otherwise, Texas will be down to its final at-bat in the top of the 7th. Tide had the game winner on base the last inning. Marley Giles stranded at third. Young has walked and scored, reached on an error. Flew out to left. The pinch hitter, Monty Hubbard, did that, so Young re-enters here. Ground ball to good, one down. That'll bring up Lauren Johnson. Misses on the butt attempt. If Texas can get to the 7th, we'll see Katie Stewart swing the bat again. She would lead off for the Horns. 1 out away from watching that.
We talked to Coach Murphy about what were the keys to being able to win against Texas. He said we have to limit the strikeouts as a team. So just 3 strikeouts this evening. He said we have to get the clutch or the key hits. They've done that. And he said we have to use the 4,400. And they've definitely used the Rose House to their advantage.
Here's Papillo. 12 homers on the year. She hasn't had much of a chance to swing the bat. Has walked a couple times, got hit by a pitch. And I believe her ground out to open up the game for Alabama was first pitch swinging. Chops that to Stewart, bobbled, and the game winner is aboard.
It's just called trying to run to first base before the ball's in your glove, and Stewart knows it. She's mad at herself.
And here comes another big swinger, Brooke Wells. The 3-run double in the 2nd inning.
That changeup almost looks like it stops halfway to home plate and then starts back up.
Atwood has been awfully busy behind the plate tonight.
Both pitchers, for that matter. A lot of balls in the dirt.
Wells, ground ball, snagged by Nichols. And we are headed to the 7th. Last chance coming up for Texas.
And she has just been outstanding since coming back into the game. Just tough as nails, the energy, the passion. But when your offense is getting you back in the game, it is so invigorating in the circle as a pitcher. And we've seen that in Vic Moulton, the freshman here this evening.
Look at that, retired 11 of 13 since she's come back. Now has to face the big bopper and Katie Stewart, followed by Altmaier and Maloney due up.
Beth, my apologies. You mentioned it earlier for Vic. Sometimes you got to wait 3 days, 4 days before you get back on the horse. Not here. She waited 3 innings, not even. I think it was 2 innings.
Came right back in.
Wanted the ball. Yeah, Coach Murphy said it.
Don't forget, if they even the series here, Game 3 due to inclement weather tomorrow has already been moved up to 12:30 locally, 1:30 Eastern. And there's a rocket all the way to the track. And Johnson, who was playing deep, able to hold her to a single.
It's a single. And Murphy, coach said it. He's like, we are going to be at the warning track, and it will be hit over her head or it will be a single. And
hit over the fence or a single.
Yes, over their heads, over the fence, or a single.
And it has been just the 1 home run and all singles. Here's Altmaier.
Because if you're playing traditional, left field depth, that's a double. That ball goes to the wall, it's over your head, you're running back for it.
row 2. Another 0-2 pitch. Called strike 3.
Moulton attacking that outer half of the zone. Coming back with that energy, that passion. Drop ball in the outer half, really well located. It's that 4-seam over the top rotation.
Maloney walked in the first. 0 for 2 since. And the count again. Ooh, just under the hands of Maloney. To second base, Young flips for 1. That's all they'll get. They'll take care of the lead runner, and Texas is down to its final out. It's Katie Bennett. Squirts away from Giles. Maloney over to second. One. Now 1 strike to work with. Bennett fouls that one off. Swing and a miss. And Moulton ends it with a strikeout as Alabama beats #1 Texas. Evens the series in the rubber match tomorrow.
Beth, how about Vic Moulton, the freshman, comes out of the game just 2/3 of an inning in the first with 5 walks, comes back in 6 collective strikeouts on the evening against the #1 ranked team in the country for the freshman Vic Moulton. She was outstanding since coming in that 3rd inning.
Big comeback for Alabama after they trailed 4-0, and they score 11 unanswered, and she gets Bennett.
She comes back underneath the hands of Bennett, and look at the passion, the energy, the big hug. Marley Giles outstanding behind the dish, working with her freshman this evening.
Crimson Tide rolls in game 2, and they beat number 1 Texas 11-4. 1:30 Eastern tomorrow, 12:30 Central on SEC Network for game 3 of the series. Michelle Smith, Beth Mowens, our entire crew will be back with you tomorrow. Let's get you to the studio after a short break.